Hi everyone. I'm just doing a short video to show you what we'll be doing on Wednesday. It's all inspired by the artist Ilana Halperin, who has a show at the fruit market now until the 17th of May. What you will need is a pencil, some fiery oil pastel colours, so oranges and reds, your watercolour set, and then your brushes and water. A little cheeky extra is some salt. If you have any salt, it can be any type of salt, just stuff that you use to cook with, really cheap, then that would be great. And then we'll try a little experiment with the drawing ink too, so if you can have that ready, that would be good. So starting off, we're going to draw our, inspired by Ilana's lava bomb, we're going to draw our rock in the middle of the page. This can be any shape. I'll just draw mine a little bit heavier so you can see. Imagining it's a chunk of lava that's just come out of the volcano. And then I'm going to crisscross some lines as if the lava is sort of coming apart. And on these lines, we are going, on the inside, going to add some orange, imagining as the rock cracks, we can start to see some of the colours coming through. So I'm now going to add a little bit of red as well. And I've got this lighter orange, but you can use yellow if you like, or even a sort of deep purple. So we're mixing the oil pastels together a little bit on top of each other so that it makes a nice sort of creamy texture. Okay, and then we're getting our watercolours, and I'm just going to do two of these surfaces of the rock to start with. So to start with, I'm going to get my brush and I'm just going to paint it with water first in the area that I want to. So we're starting with one piece of the rock, and I'm going to use the navy blue in your watercolour set. Really give it a brush around, add some more water, make it quite thick. Oops, there we go. And I'm going to dot it onto the page and then paint a little bit more on. So imagining the surface, the texture is almost like the surface of the moon, I guess. So, and let the water kind of run over. Okay, so that's one where I've done the water first, and then the second one I'm just going to do it straight on. I'm painting right up, can you see I'm painting right up to the oil pastel, because as we've done this before, you know, the oil pastel, it doesn't hold, it resists the paint. So I'm making it nice and painterly, not too much water, right to the edge. And when we come to the outer edge, being delicate not to go out of the lines. Okay, so we've got one that's a bit more watery and one that's more watercolour, thicker watercolour. And then I've put my salt in the top of my, like a jam jar lid, and I'm going to get a pinch and I'm going to pinch and sprinkle the salt over the surface of the rock, and you'll be able to see that the salt absorbs some of the water, so it's going to change the surface of the rock. So now I'm going to move on to adding some more water to one of my sections, and I'm going to then add some of the watercolour again, so it gives it that lovely bluish tinge. But this time I'm going to get a tiny bit of drawing ink and drop it in. Oh yeah, so it kind of makes a really dark splodge and it spreads, and I'm just going to leave that there. And then I'm going to use my same brush without watering it. I'm going to add the drawing ink really thickly to my rock, my next piece, around the outside. And then I'm going to add a little bit of water to this. And can you see as I add the water, it sort of mottles a little bit. So then we've got a very dark one. And then I'm going to add water to my next piece and experiment with a bit of watercolour and a tiny bit of ink together, just dabbing it on the surface of the water, and then cleaning my brush and moving it so this one's quite light, moving it around the surface of the rock, and you can see it's kind of making this lovely texture. I think I might keep that one without putting salt on, and this one, but I might try and see what the salt looks like when I put the on top of the ink. And this final piece at the end, I'm just going to use some of the water from this one, because I put a lot of water in ink, and just spread it out. So it's like a light wash. I haven't dipped my brush at all in the ink. I've just used the ink from the other one. And actually, I really like that bluey colour, so I'm going to mix a little bit of the blue in with the rock. And we'll go through this together, but I just wanted to send you a video so you know what we're going to be doing this week. And so I'm going to pinch the salt again, and I'm going to just put it gently, usually where the water is, on this one and this one. Okay, and we'll leave that to dry because it needs to take a little while to dry. And let me show you one that I did earlier. I'll get my Blue Peter over here, and this one I've actually covered in salt all over, and you can see it's making this lovely rich texture. So yes, we're going to be inspired by lava, rocks, and I guess it continues from the work we were doing with our shells. So hopefully that's a little bit of a start for what we'll be doing, and we'll maybe explore some of the salt and the different colours as well if we've got time. All right, thank you.